You are watching African Light News Channel, your trusted destination for factual, balanced, and fearless reporting on Africa's most significant developments. Today's report focuses on a story that has sent waves across West Africa. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's armed forces reportedly crossed borders into the Republic of Benin to assist during a serious security incident. While the move surprised many, it has also been described by analysts as a remarkable demonstration of African cooperation, unity, and self-reliance in tackling the region's shared security challenges. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video, share it widely, and subscribe to African Light News Channel so you never miss important updates on Africa's transformation stories. According to regional security reports, Benin's northern communities recently faced coordinated attacks from armed groups. The situation prompted urgent calls for help. Rather than reaching out to European allies or international forces, Benin reportedly turned to its African neighbor Burkina Faso for immediate assistance. In a swift and coordinated operation, Burkinabe aircraft and specialized units supported Benin's forces on the ground, helping to stabilize the situation and protect local populations. Observers described the mission as disciplined and precise, a rare moment where two African nations worked seamlessly to defend their borders without foreign mediation. The choice to call on Burkina Faso raises deeper questions about the shifting nature of trust and alliances in Africa's defense strategy. For decades, many West African countries have depended on Western military partnerships for security operations. But this recent cooperation suggests a new direction, one where African nations are beginning to trust one another's capacity to handle shared threats. For months, Burkina Faso and Benin have been quietly working together on joint security measures to protect their northern territories, regions that have long faced violence from extremist groups. These groups, often linked to international terror networks, have disrupted livelihoods and displaced communities. Yet, under Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership, Burkina Faso has committed to reclaiming regional security through African-led collaboration. In a past interview, Captain Ibrahim Traoré hinted at how closely regional forces now communicate. He explained that when one country faces an imminent threat, their neighbors sometimes respond quickly through direct military coordination, rather than waiting for lengthy political processes. According to Traoré, a good soldier knows that a threat to one is a threat to all. We cooperate because the danger is shared. This philosophy has reshaped Burkina Faso's approach to regional defense, prioritizing proactive measures and teamwork among African armies. Experts are calling this cooperation a potential turning point, possibly the beginning of an African security renaissance led by a new generation of pragmatic and determined leaders. Burkina Faso's intervention was not just a military action. It was a symbolic statement, one that demonstrated unity, responsibility, and the possibility of African nations defending one another. The precision, coordination, and outcomes of the operation highlighted how far Burkina Faso's armed forces have evolved in professionalism and strategy. Reports from the ground indicate that the collaboration prevented further escalation and reassured nearby communities of their government's commitment to protection. This cooperation raises important strategic questions. Is Africa entering a new era of mutual defense and shared responsibility? Could such alliances reduce dependence on external military powers? How will global partners perceive this growing regional confidence? For Benin, the decision to seek support from a neighboring African nation rather than Western troops stationed in the region signals a shift in priorities, one rooted in sovereignty and regional trust. Observers note that this moment could redefine the balance of power in West Africa. It represents a quiet but powerful message that African nations are learning to take the lead in their own security affairs. The sight of Burkinabe aircraft crossing into Benin's airspace in defense of an African partner carries a profound symbolism. It was not an act of aggression, but one of cooperation and shared responsibility. For decades, African nations have been told they cannot manage their own defense without outside help. Yet this event challenges that notion, proving that collaboration among African nations can yield real, peaceful solutions to complex security problems. International analysts say the move highlights an uncomfortable truth. Africa's challenge is not a lack of strength, but a lack of unity and coordination. When those two elements align, the results can be transformative. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's profile has continued to rise across the continent. His administration's decision to respond swiftly to a neighboring country's distress has enhanced his reputation as a leader of action and solidarity. While political opinions about him remain diverse, many young Africans see his leadership as a symbol of courage and self-determination. It is important to note that this report is not intended to promote any political figure but to analyze the regional impact of an event that may redefine cooperation across the continent. The Benin-Burkina Faso cooperation offers an important lesson for the continent's policymakers. Proximity matters. A crisis in one African country affects its neighbors almost immediately. Good relations between neighboring states are therefore not just political choices, they are essential for survival and stability. When African countries stand together, they can respond faster than distant allies ever could. It reinforces the idea that true partnership begins next door. As Burkina Faso's influence grows, so do the challenges. The country continues to face internal security threats and limited resources. Balancing domestic priorities with regional leadership will be crucial. Yet, this new phase of cooperation offers hope, showing that even in difficult times, unity can strengthen resilience and reshape Africa's global image from dependence to determination. For many young Africans, this moment stands as proof that the continent's destiny is not predetermined. It shows that courage, cooperation, and innovation can replace the old cycle of dependency. If this model of partnership expands, Africa could soon become a continent that not only safeguards its own peace but also sets examples for others around the world. What happened between Burkina Faso and Benin on October 4th was more than a military operation, it was a declaration of self-confidence. It declared that Africa can take initiative, that leadership grounded in courage and solidarity can overcome division, and that unity is Africa's most powerful defense. The partnership between Burkina Faso and Benin signals a shift in narrative, one where Africa begins to rewrite its own security story. Will this mark the start of a new chapter for African sovereignty and security? Or will old external influences reassert themselves? That is a question for the future, but for now, one thing is clear. Africa is learning to stand for itself. We would love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe this represents the dawn of African military independence? Or is it simply a moment of cooperation in difficult times? Share your perspective respectfully in the comment section below. Your voice shapes this conversation and helps us build a more informed community. If you appreciate in-depth analysis and independent journalism, support African Light News channel by subscribing, becoming a member, or giving a super thanks.